Hello and welcome to another special episode of 101 as we continue to shine light on the interesting personalities behind digital marketing and strategies. My name is Elsie Godwin. Our first stop is a lady who, prior to becoming a full-time blogger, spent over 10 years in the banking sector. She's a graduate of chemical engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, and the founder of Laila's News, Laila Ijeoma. She shares her journey to becoming a reputable blogger. Thank you for your time, Laila.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, you are one of the top bloggers in Nigeria. I mean, you left banking for blogging. How did that start?
Well, my journey into blogging has, first of all, the passion has started since when I was a young child. But it just happened that I was so good with sciences, like in my WAEC. That was in 2000. I had A1 chemistry, physics, biology, maths, and Igbo.
Wow.
So when I was done with that and I was to take JAMB, I was given my JAMB form to fill. I actually filled mass communication. So when my dad's and asset management, I can't forget those two courses. So when my dad saw it, my dad was like, how do you go from having A1 in chemistry and all of that and you want to do mass communication? Like it doesn't, match. So he knew I was good with sciences, so he advised me to do it. Engineering, that I can actually do it. So I went ahead and I did it.
Okay.
And I actually got admission and got into school and all that. But as time went on, a time comes in your life when passion, you can, try as much as you cannot actually run away from your passion. So as time went on, I finished chemical engineering, got out of school, got into the banking industry.
How did you get into the banking industry from being an engineer?
Chemical engineer.
Quite interesting.
That's Nigeria for us, You understand? So I graduated and NYSC camp was where I actually met my employers and we did a test. We're like over 500 core members that actually wrote for the bank aptitude test and they picked only 4 of us. Wow. And I was among. So that was how I got into the banking industry, and then from banking, I now, after serving as a core member with the bank, I was actually retained, and that's how I got into banking. So then, but as time went on, I knew I knew I want to do media. Like I know, I have this passion for telling stories. I just enjoy telling stories. So I was doing banking, but I wasn't fulfilled, Then until one day, we had a new staff. The bank just employed him. So he came into the office that day. We all introduced ourselves, and time went on. Then that very fateful day that he walked in and we got into a conversation, 2 of us, and I found out that he was a blogger before he joined the bank. So I was like, really, blogger, what's that? So he now opened up his blog, and then he was into technology, blogging. So he was, he opened up his blog. He was telling me how he writes stories, and then he showed me how people respond, comments he was getting, and I was like, this is very, very interesting. So he actually now opened up my eyes to check out Linda Ikeji's blog, Bella Naija. It was actually through him that I got to know about blogging.
So how did you realize that blogging could fulfill the passion of mass communication? Because sometimes at the time we were talking about this, they were not categorized in the same space.
Yes, then that was happening around 2012. You get. So when he actually showed me Linda Ikeji's blog, and I checked it out, and I saw the comments, and I saw the engagement, and I realized that, and then there was Twitter as well, so there was social media. So I checked everything. I was like, babe, you've been looking for an outlet where you can tell stories. This would be a perfect fit. So right there in the office, I opened my blog, and I started writing. And
This was in 2012?
2012, yes. And I was really naughty. So, for you to succeed as a blogger, you have to stand out. You have to have your own personality that, that stands out, So I was writing, I was putting my personality into it, and I realized I was getting comments. People were, feedback, and I was like, I'm enjoying this, and it was then it was Amiibo blogging. So it was really, really interesting. So I couldn't stop, Right from that day, I opened my blog in the office, and that's how I started blogging. And as time went on, I'll be very frank as well, as time went on, I realized that it can be a little bit toxic. People don't know you. But because they read your blog, they feel they can like talk back at you, as in like once in a while. I witnessed the drama as time went on. You know, there were vile comments, even sometimes don't know at me, but you could see two people that don't even know each other exchanging comments, and they're like saying a lot of things.
Okay, before we get into the bad side of blogging, you started your blog in 2012 and then you left banking fully in 2016.
Yes, I did.
What was it that made you realize that it was time to move on?
Okay, I did blog in 2012 for 4 years before I finally, the day I finally quit, I'll be very frank, 2 things actually happened. Number one, I realized that blogging was paying me. That very month, it actually paid me 3 times what my bank salary pays me.
Okay.
So that was one. Then 2, I was now the head of my unit at the office. And I'm also a mother with 3 children, 3 boys. And I'm also running a blog that was now popular. And people wake up in the morning and they come to my blog and they're expecting to read top stories. Now, these are 3 huge responsibilities. And I had just 24 hours a day to take care of the 3 of them. And I haven't forgot, I'm also, of course, I'm a wife. I also have a husband to take care of. So like I have 24 hours to take care of 4 demanding chores. So it came to a point where I had to just decide, if I continue like this, I'm going to break down. I have to just pick. Of course, my family and my husband, my kids and my husband are priority. As in, I cannot substitute in any of them. So I had to choose between blogging and banking. So June 30th, 2016, I woke up that morning. It was actually a week before June 30th. I woke up that morning, and it was like, this is it. Today is the day. Like this is the end of today. Is like, babe, if you go to work today and continue with this work, you're gonna die. I had that feeling like today was just the day. So that day,
the pressure was much.
The pressure was huge. So that day, I somehow the confidence came, because now I'm leaving a job that pays me every 24th, I'm sure of salary. Now I want to leave it for blogging, where I am now the employer. I'm going to have people that will work for me, you know. So that like I'm not going to have that surety of 24th any longer, that yes, I'm going to be paid on the 24th. So it was as in like this fear of the unknown that also I had to overcome. But that very day, somehow I had that boldness, I had that guts, and I was like, today is the day. Whatever happens, I can handle it. But before then, anyway, I had already saved up my 1 year salary.
Okay.
I actually did. So I had the money. So I was like, okay, as in that day was like, babe, whatever happens, you have something to fall back on. I can actually pay myself my salary every month till whenever I'm able to get back on my feet if my blogging goes wrong.
Okay.
So that day, I made up my mind, got to work, told my boss that I was leaving. He asked me to give them 1 more month. I told him that I couldn't. Like, not that I hated the job, but it just gets to that point in your life when it's not just any longer about money. It's about fulfillment. Like, you want to get, as in like, live and be fulfilled. You understand? So I told him I couldn't do 1 more month. That I could just do 1 week. So that's how it moved to the end of June 30th. So June 30th, I honorably, like, they even threw a party for me in the office. It was, as my boss was like, this is how anybody that wants to leave a job should leave a job. Like, you leave a job honorably, without any such stories or accusations or whatever. And
so you mentioned that your blog at the beginning was more like an amicable thing.
Yes.
But now you've rebranded a lot, and you're one of the blog to go to when you want to get authentic news.
Yes, of course.
What did you do different? How was that rebranding process for you?
Okay, number one, I want to talk about fake news in Nigeria. People always tell you bloggers are the ones that are spreading fake news. You get, people don't expect big platforms like Punch, cable to spread fake news. So, but when you talk about fake news, they always tell you bloggers. So I didn't like, as in when I said my blog and people are like fake news, I just didn't like it. So I knew that, okay, it's time for me to, and there are so many bloggers in Nigeria. Everybody's a blogger in Nigeria, everybody. And I realized that, okay, fine, babe, it's time for you to rebrand. So I left lailasblog.com and rebranded to lailasnews.com, and I called my team members, and our focus changed from amicable news. Yes, as in like, it changed from just being a gossip website to being an authentic news media like platform. So what we just, and I told everybody that it's no longer just about me, but before you post a story, you have to confirm that it is true. Even if where you couldn't confirm from the people you're talking about, whoever is talking to you about the story has to be someone that is reliable, a reliable source. Then even when, yes, because of course, an accused is not guilty until a court says he or she is guilty. You understand? So even at that point, you still have to use allegedly, because for the fact that you weren't there when the incident happened, there are always three sides to a story. So someone has told you his own side of the story. You haven't heard from the other person. So you just can't go out and say, yeah, this is how it happened. So that's the reason why you have to use allegedly. And also let your readers know that we haven't gotten this person, as in the accused person's side of the story, and we are working on it so that your story is balanced at every point in time. So we had to, rebrand from just being a blogger, amiable blogger, to being a reputable news media platform.
Okay, unfortunately we don't have time, but before I let you go, what's the advice you would give anyone who wants to own a platform like yours? I know there are so many bloggers, but there are so many people still coming into the business of blogging. What advice would you give them?
Number one, when you're coming into the media business, please make sure you're coming with the right intentions.
Okay.
The right intentions. It really, really matters. Coming with the intention of trying to push out the right stories and cause a positive impact. Not just to come in and you think because you heard bloggers are making so much money, you're like, okay, let me jump in and make more money, and then because it exposes you to posting any kind of story you see because you want clicks. That's totally wrong. Before you get into the media business, make sure you're coming in with the right intentions and make sure that you have integrity. No amount of money is going to make you publish a false story against anybody. You have to have integrity. You have to have the right intention.
Thank you so much for your time, Laila.
Thank you so much. All right.
Welcome back. This is Plus TV Africa. Let's move right into this conversation with Tiwalola Olanubi Jnr. He is a certified new media expert and the creative director at Dot Media House. He has a BSc in quantity surveying from the University of Lagos, but changed course due to his passion for creating marketing solutions through the use of media. In 2011, while in school with the mindset to do more, he became the first Blackberry ambassador in Nigeria, helping the smartphone brand gain grounds on campuses across Nigeria. He has been nominated and won several awards, including the Future Awards Africa 2017 Prize for Media Enterprise, Scream Awards for Entrepreneurship, Maya Awards for PR Executive. Thank you, Tiwa, for your time.
Hi, Elsie.
Okay, in 2011, you were the first brand ambassador for Blackberry in Nigeria. Take us through that journey, how you got to where then, and then where you are now as CEO at Dot Media House.
Okay, so basically, I attended Unilag and I studied surveying. But as at my 200 level, I kind of already realized that I wasn't going to practice, like I wasn't in love with the course. And again, it was important for me to find my purpose as soon as possible. So of course I could start chasing my dreams. And I realized that while I was in school, I was more interested in stuff that related with entertainment, media. Of course, media was not grown yet then. So while I was in school, I became a bit influential. People would call me to help them promote maybe an event or promote a project and all that. So I became a bit influential. Then on Twitter, I was really grown. Like I was trending almost every day on Twitter on trending topics and stuff. Then Blackberry was coming into Nigeria. So with all that, having done all that in Unilag and everything, and I was still in 200 level, Blackberry was coming into Nigeria, and Blackberry came with a strategy. Basically not to get celebrities the normal way brands would do as ambassadors. So they wanted to have influential students on campuses as ambassadors. So they picked 15 people across Nigeria. But it was from a pool of over like 10,000 people. Wow. So I became the first person to become an ambassador for them. I did that for 4 years. I was representing the brand. I would get the phones before it comes into the market, review it, talk to the press, come up with strategies on how they should promote it to the Nigerian youths, basically, and all that. So going from that,
Before you talk about going from that, you said you were trending almost every day at the time.
Yes,
what were you doing? Was it your opinion or your strategy towards trending every day?
Yes, so on Twitter, as at 2009 to 2013, it was real conversations that were going on compared to now, to be honest. Like, people that were talking on Twitter are people that were really intelligent. You rarely see people that would just, right now it's savage, everybody's just being savage and stuff. But it was real conversation. So then it was almost every day we're doing something called trending topics, where people would come up with, say for example, a topic that says childhood memories. And then everybody just starts to talk about it. Or maybe something was going on in Nigeria, occupying Nigeria, stuff like that. And then you give opinions. And I was always getting a lot of engagement on tweets and posts and all that. And then even having 10,000 followers, unlike now, having 10,000 followers was a big deal in 2010, 2011. So conversations around that. And also because I was influential on campus, coming from a Unilag, having that community behind you was huge. For your engagement and stuff. So going from that was basically, and which was very crucial in me getting the endorsement as an ambassador for Blackberry, actually.
Okay, moving on from being somewhat king on Twitter and then the ambassador deal and where you are now, what happened in that space?
So, of course, while I was an ambassador for Blackberry, I was starting to get a lot of jobs on the side where like brands would just call me and say, oh, can you help us talk about this? Can you help us tweet and pay me for it? I didn't know that you should get paid for that, basically. Like, pay me for tweeting, pay me for talking on BBM. Like, it was huge. My BBM was full at the point, like 5,000. You have to delete people to add more people on it.
How did you cope with that?
It was crazy, but because again, that's what makes me happy. Like, it's fun. I create conversations, I drive stuffs like that. So that was interesting to me. But realizing that I could be paid to do it was the game changer. So at that point, there was really nothing like influencer marketing at that point. So I was being paid to tweet, I was being paid to put up posts on BBM and stuff. It got to a point I realized that, which was towards the time I was going to stop being with Blackberry, it got to a point I realized it would make sense to actually pay me and then I bring a group of people to also do the same thing. So when a brand contacts me to do something, I would probably tell them that, oh, I have 10 other guys that are able to do the same thing. Are you willing to? Then they pay for that, I run the whole thing, and that's how I started to run influencer marketing. From that, I started to realize that there were some jobs I would not get if I was an individual. So I didn't set out to actually start a company. That was the truth. I didn't set out to. So I realized that, okay, I needed to start to improve, like become better at what I was doing and everything. And then in 2014, I started to launch a company, which was exactly the year I graduated.
Oh, wow.
So I started Dots Media House, and I feel like every other thing is true. We started to do digital marketing services, social media management, but influencer marketing became our core because I've realized now, after 3 years into the company, I realized that we later became the company with the largest chain of influencers. So other agencies would outsource influencer marketing to us. Brands would contact us for everything influencer marketing. So that became a core for us. But we still did social media management, creatives, website development, content development, and all that, basically.
You mentioned something earlier that influencer marketing wasn't a thing then, but it's a case of, I think it's more like the term wasn't known then.
Yes.
Almost everything you're doing now, it's something you were doing at the time, but it's probably on a smaller scale, but it's the same process.
Yes.
Now, comparing now and the past, what would you say would be the future of influencer marketing in Nigeria?
So if we look at the pattern from say 2010 to now, of course everyone agrees with the growth, because again, earlier this year my company released the first ever influencer marketing report, and in doing that we did surveys, we talked about a lot of things online, spoke with CEOs, brand managers and stuff, and everyone agreed that influencer marketing has grown. The amount of budget that brands put on influencer marketing, say in 2010, 2011, compared to now, is like over 200% higher now. So looking at that pattern, I feel that, of course, every brand is going digital. Everybody, like, it's not an argument anymore. Everybody has gone digital. Like, the budget for digital marketing is becoming very close to what they spend on traditional advertising, basically. And I think that in the next 5 years, I really think in the next 5 years, PR is going to die. Basically, I think PR is going to die. I think that everybody's going to be focusing on digital marketing. Everybody's going to be focusing on new media. And influencer marketing is biggest part of digital marketing. That's the best type of marketing that would bring you return on investment. Word of mouth is like word of mouth on social media.
Instead of saying PR would die, I mean PR here meaning public relations.
Yes, public
right?
relations. Basically.
Don't you think digital marketing is a sub of PR?
Yes, it is. But when a sub of a body is becoming way bigger than the body itself, then then budget is not going to be. So what I mean by that is that brands are going to start to reduce, or as a matter of fact, cancel a lot of budgets that they put on PR, which is the publications and putting stuff on TV and all that, and start to put, because when you put the budget on digital, for example, you can see the result as you do it. So you give an influencer a particular budget, and you can see the views on the post, you can see the engagement, you can see real comments of people saying they like a product or not. Unlike if you put it on TV or you put it on the newspaper, people are not going to be able to give you the feedback. You get. So I think that in 5 years' time, brands are going to really either cut or totally stop the budget they put into PR and start to put almost everything on digital marketing. Okay,
so what would you say is the difference in the strategy that goes into PR and influencer marketing?
The strategy, I think that I don't think the strategy is the problem. I think it's the audience. Okay. So the audience for newspapers or TV, or I think radio is still one of the biggest, to be honest. I don't think radio is going to die, which that's still under PR. But I think that newspapers and TV compared to digital, the difference majorly is the audience. The audience is already sitting on digital. Through influencer marketing, in a day, you can tell how many people you've reached. You can tell how many impressions you've made. You can tell how many people has clicked your website. These are like, it's real connections compared to this newspaper and TV. So I don't think the strategy is, I think the strategy is still great, but the strategy has become old school. So it's no more working, basically. It's no more working. Okay.
On carrying out a project, if you want to choose an influencer to be on a particular project, what do you look out for?
Which I think that everyone should check out our report that we released at the beginning of this year. It's on nigeriaimreport.com. I think that we kind of touched on, because one of the major problems that we faced in influencer marketing in 5 years of running it, or in 5 years of Dots Media running it, basically, is the fact that a lot of brands don't even understand what influencer marketing is. So they are willing to do it, but because they don't have they don't have the knowledge about it, it's hard for them to put money into what they don't have knowledge about. So I think, and again, a lot of agencies are doing it wrongly. Like, so they have the influencers, but they're not using them right. Say, for example, a food brand wants to use influencers for one of their products or something they're about to launch, and then you go and pick somebody that their audience are kind of following them because they are fashion oriented. It's not going to work. So when you use that kind of influencer for your campaign, and they put up a post and the engagement is not huge, it's not that the influencer is not great, it's because you've used them wrongly. You get. So I feel that what is most important when we're picking influencers is picking them for the right campaigns. You get. So for us, we have tools and strategies that we use in picking influencers. We have softwares that we use to confirm their followership if it's real. We have tools that we use to confirm what kind of interest their followers are following them for. So if you're a fashion influencer, for example, we won't give you a food campaign to do. It would not fit. But again, there are some campaigns that you do that every influencer fits in. So a brand wants to do an event, for example. You're trying to pull crowd for the event. Anybody can fall into that, because as long as your target audience falls between maybe 15 to one particular age and all that. So I think what is most important is the niche. Picking influencers based on niche. So there are a couple of influencers that are getting that right. You'll see some influencers that are focused majorly on tech. No matter how much you call them for another job, they only take tech-related jobs. There are some that are food. There are some that are travel influencers. They will not take anything outside travel. So those kind of people are their engagements are going to continue to grow, basically. And also looking at people like the tier 2 influencers like Maraji or Lasisi and Co. I think that they've been able to pick a niche too, where what they do is create content for any campaign that they have to do. I think they fall on everything, basically, because they have an audience that span the whole age bracket or like interest and all that. You get. So far in your journey, any regrets so far? at all. I feel like my job is so much fun. It was really important to me when I was getting out of school not to work for anyone, to be honest. I wanted to be an entrepreneur since, or I feel like I was already an entrepreneur from when I was in school, because I used to do a lot while I was in Unilag. Again, my school gave me opportunities. I feel like going to a school like that opened me up to a lot of opportunities and stuff. So I was kind of sure that I wasn't going to work for anyone. And the kind of culture we run right now at Dots Media also shows where I began from. Staff resume at 10 o'clock. It's a fun environment for them to live in. We do work from homes and all this kind of stuff. So basically, my work entails a lot of fun things. So I really do not have regrets. I'm happy that the industry I'm in is growing daily, is growing yearly. Like the budget brands are starting to spend is a whole lot. Brands are starting to embrace digital marketing greatly. And then going forward, because we are 5 this year, so we have a lot of products we're releasing for the next 5 years. We're releasing a tech platform. We have a co-working space now. Also, we have an annual event that would come up every year. So it's exciting to go into the next few years.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Elsie.
That's it on this episode. Stay tuned to Plus TV Africa as we bring you more interesting conversations to inspire you. Don't forget to follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. My name is Elsie Godwin.